America's golden age has officially started, and the Democrats are not happy about it. All right, so it's been a little bit since we kind of did a little podcast here. We actually got snowed in for a while, so kind of wanted to twice in a row. Cody got sick in between.
Twice,
yeah. So, but yeah, no, we're back in. We got a lot of stuff to cover. I know Trump got inaugurated. So we'll be kind of going over some of that. We'll be going over the actual tariffs that he's kind of imposing or threatening on a lot of different nations. He's been doing a lot of threatening lately. Also, rehiring of the vaccine, I guess what will you say, deniers or not deniers, but the military members who refused the vaccine and then were fired because of that. Trump had some announcements on that. And then also the Treasury pick for Trump, which is interesting, and Cody actually informed me of this, and he actually had a big announcement as well, at least what he's going to be pushing for. So I'm excited about that. Additionally, there was aid, federal foreign aid was cut to most countries except for the one that you can guess. But yeah, pretty wild stuff. Starting with Trump's inauguration, it's been a ride. I was a little scared in particular about them keeping it and having it outside. So I'm very happy that they moved it indoors. I think it was more of a security risk. I don't really know if it was necessarily because of the cold. Just my own personal opinion. Could be wrong, could be off there, but we'll never know, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, Trump's inauguration, one thing that I noticed, at least the biggest thing that stuck out to me, I should say, is the amount of tech CEOs that came in to his inauguration. Sam Altman, you had Google's guy, you had Apple, obviously Tim Cook, you had Elon Musk, you had all of these huge tycoons coming in, and they not only were there and represented, but they also helped pay for the inauguration. They, each one of them, Zuckerberg wrote $1 million check, Bezos wrote $1 million check. All these massive guys kind of they're accepting it this time. I don't know if you remember back in 2016, but there wasn't a massive political shift. It was more of everybody was in their own trench and tech was 100% on the left. And that's just how it was. And it was Trump against everybody. It does appear that at least the tech industry in Silicon Valley is at least going to be appeasing to the new administration, which is really, really big movement. And I think J.D. Vance had a big part in that. So interesting. Anyway, I know that with his inauguration, immediately you saw shifts. Trump was signing things that night, and he was signing them to the next day. He was doing them live. Trump loves that aspect. We'll do it live. Yeah, and he signed a bunch of executive orders ending DEI in the federal government. He also ended. Cody, what is the one where they make sure that basically white kids and Asian kids, even though they could have higher scores, they don't get the same representation of, like, let's say, a Hispanic guy or black guy, going into a university. What is that called?
I'm not sure.
I forget. But anyway, he overruled it. There's actually a funny story. You guys could probably find it if you look it up online. But there was an Indian guy who was pretty dark, and he had a 3.1 GPA, but he wanted to go to like some Ivy League schools. Obviously, that's not enough to score if he's Indian, right? Because there's a lot of Indians who score really well, and they go to university. Same thing with Asians. So what he did is he shaved his head. And he shaved his eyebrows or something like that. I don't know how. Anyway, he made himself look like he was African American. So he even joined the African American club when he went to university. And he got into all of them. He got in all of the Ivy League schools with this pathetic 3.1 GPA. And I thought that was really funny. It was a whole game plan. He documented the whole thing. But But yeah, because that was his only chance to get into a really good school was to not be Asian or white. So it's pretty interesting. But anyway, Trump ended that. It's going to be 100% based on merit now, to where, hey, if you work really, really hard and you get a 3.3 GPA, you're going to be considered on against other 3.3 GPAs, not just because of the color of your skin. So, shocker, merit-based, meritocracy.
Did you see when Trump signed those orders to, dissolve all the DEI initiatives? I believe it was the ATF. There was this lady, I forget what her title was, but it was something like, I don't know, DEI, implementation officer or executive or something like that. It clearly was DEI. And then after Trump put these initiatives in, they changed her title to chief senior executive or something. And it's like, okay, she's probably doing the same thing. Like,
can we fire her?
Yeah, you need to close up shop now.
Can we fire her? Can we fire her just like we should that bishop, that woman that was preaching at Trump?
That's haram.
All right, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say what everybody's thinking, okay? I'm not trying to be offensive, and I'm not trying to be sexist, okay? I'm not trying to be. But at the same time, women should not be pastors. I'm sorry. It has to be said, because crap like this happens, and you have this woman up there talking about tranny children need to be like represented on the federal level, and how, you need to cut little children's wieners off to be in good with the Lord. Was that her main thing was God protect the children that are trans from this incoming presidency. That was the main synopsis of it. So anyway, she's out of her mind. I personally don't. Cody, let's get radical for a second. I think it should be outlawed. Women holding pastoral positions, women holding anything in the clergy, if you will. Clergy, we'll go back in the old days. Clergy.
Am I supposed to say something?
I was waiting. I was putting the pressure on you. The room got really tight because we know that, the trannies are here, but, it's what it is.
And they are queer, unfortunately.
They are. They are LGBTQI plus. IA plus. My bad. I missed one.
Ooh.
Canceled. But anyway, no, I genuinely do believe that. And the main reason it's biblical. It just says it in the Bible. I'm sorry. Like, you can fight with the book, but you're not exactly on God's side if you fight with the Bible, right? Is that fair? Is that fair?
I think that's fair.
I don't know. We have a lot of pastors that we know that totally disagree with us because, they agree with the devil. But, besides that, it's...
Oh, gosh.
Sorry, but it's true. Some people are on the other team. But, yeah. So anyway, Bishop, she's out of her mind. She should be, in Trump's America. He's kind of a secular guy. He's not really that Christian. So he was an easy target too. It's Trump. This dude is like cheating on his wife, sleeping with all these Playboy models. He's been through how many divorces? He's not exactly the pinnacle of Christianity. I would actually peg him as a pretty immoral guy. But, at the same time, she wasn't even pointing out that. Like if she had said that, then I would have been like, she kind of got a point. Like, let's calm down the David activities when you're up there, guy, But instead, she was like, we need to be chopping children's wieners off, and, I'm not happy, and God's not happy till we do. Like, okay, shut up,
Yeah, it wasn't the time or the place either.
It shouldn't even be allowed to be an opinion from a person of clergy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's like, anyway.
What denomination were they? Or is she?
I looked it up. It was not, I know you're thinking Methodist, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't. Look it up. It was not one of your mainstream ones. But yeah, no, just haram. You have a certain appreciation. I know we've been really hard on Islam, but you do have a certain appreciation for Islam in which they prevent these things from happening because they are more traditional. They just don't have that. Here we go. Let's see, pull it up here. What was she? Oh, that was Pastor Lorenzo Sewell or whatever. He was awesome. He was cool. He was preaching. He was up there. He was going at it. Is she trans? Maybe she's trans. I never thought about that. Maybe I shouldn't be so quick to judge.
She could be.
I mean, look at her. She could be trans. I could see it.
She looks like the white version of Lori Lightfoot.
Episcopal Church. Okay.
That's right.
There she is.
Yeah.
The devil in woman form. Anyway, it happens. For what is it? It was not Adam who's deceived, but it was Eve. Like, it's interesting. I mean, that goes back to a biblical principle in which, Eve is the one who's actually deceived by the serpent, and Adam is the one who chooses, right? Because he looks at Eve and she's so beautiful. It's lust that pulls Adam into the situation where he eats the fruit. It's not because he was tricked. It's because he's weighing his options. And, I mean, you can't really judge, Adam that much for that. I mean, let's be real here.
You're getting into the thick of it.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going down the theological path. You can't without looking at this transgender priest woman from Satan.
Her husband's name is Paul Boudet.
Oh, so she's a gay tranny.
No, I don't remember we looked that up.
I don't think she's trans.
Literally, Paul in the Bible talks about against women and
that's right.
Clergy positions.
Yeah.
And her husband.
He's like, don't speak in church, and she's like, I'm gonna marry a Paul and talk about trannies in front of Trump.
Church.
In church. Oh, haram. Anyway,
she was born in New Jersey. That says a lot.
Jersey. That's a not much of a redemption arc. It happens, but anyway, that's all that I have for that one. Overall, a good. Okay, my synopsis on Trump's inauguration and presidency. I'll give it to you really quick. My goal for the country and my vision for it is that Trump is seen as a liberal character in which he's not exactly Christian. He's pro-migration as long as it's legal. He's very pro a lot of liberal policies, including healthcare. He's also very, very liberal when it comes to Social Security and these other things. For me, that's a liberal guy. He's also very pro civil rights. He's very pro all of the kind of left-wing agendas. He just has common sense, right? He's just not like, hey, let's not, mutilate children's genitals because they say they are something, right? And they're 7 years old. They're 4 years old. Like, yeah. I had an imaginary friend when I was little. Like, what the hell? Like, it makes no sense. Anyway, so my main goal is to provide kind of a right-wing, more Christian nationalist approach, which is very much of like, hey, let's get more back to what this nation was founded upon. And in order to actually combat these far just evil ideal sets, such as LGBTQI+, and all these other ideas, you really have to be rooted in Christianity. And I really would like to see that a more Christian nationalist point of view come against the more Trumpian point of view, in which you have the situation where it's Trump against the Christians. And I really do like that setting because it really brings up balance to the country, in which it's, okay, Trump may not be the most moral person, and I love Trump for a lot of things that he's done, mainly proving that a widely unpopular candidate can win, not just once, but twice, in the popular vote. I mean, you remember in 2016, this dude was talking some wild stuff. He was talking about banning all Muslims. He was just, anything that he could say, he was laying it down. So in just kind of in synopsis here, really quickly, I just really hope that we can reformat and that we could take advantage of this. And my biggest message to the far right wing and the more really, really conservatively minded guys is, let's not just cut people out because they don't agree with us 100%. And I understand that the right wing in general, the Republican Party, is way too accepting. I totally get that, right? They're taking in, companies like Daily Wire who have Dave Rubin working for them, right? And we accepted Dave Rubin, who I actually appreciate a lot of his thoughts, but he's a gay guy who adopted a kid. That's immoral. And we do have to draw a line. So now at the same time, I'm not going to like go on Twitter and wish death upon him, right? Like, let's not be cruel. And I do think it kind of goes back to, you know, Jesus's message of mercy and compassion. And I mean, I'm terrible with compassion. I'm the worst at it. I've actually scored like out of 100, I scored 2 on my compassion and empathy. It was not great, but at the same time, you do have to take Jesus's message from that angle. With that being said, you still stand up for your beliefs. What I'm saying is you just don't want to exile so many people. For instance, I see on Twitter, the far right wing, anyone who in the least little bit supports Israel is automatically labeled a heretic, right? We see this with Tim Pool. Tim Pool doesn't really see the big deal about Israel. He's like, who cares? Like, why are we even talking about this? And I just don't think that it's something to go and attack him and try to destroy him over. I think it's more of like, hey, we agree on a lot of things, we disagree on this, and let's have a healthy debate. But we can inject our ideals and these really good ideas into the mainstream if we don't exile and push everybody else out. That's my main synopsis. If we can convert Tim Pool and we can make him really Christian and we can make him talk about taking over the Holy Land again, I mean, that would be awesome, right? But that's probably not going to happen. We're probably just going to get him to a point where he converts to Christianity in such a way that, you know, he believes in certain ideals being pushed. That's a win. That's a win. And we'll take it. And yes, we're going to keep pushing farther and farther. But anyway, that was my synopsis on the inauguration. Trump blackmails people. Trump blackmails countries. I love it, dude. So this kind of goes into our main tariff discussion, which is the concept of, is Trump legitimately trying to impose mass tariffs, or is Trump just trying to use it as leverage? It's actually in between. A lot of people from both sides have been completely wrong on this. The far left is claiming that Trump wants to just put tariffs everywhere to increase tax revenue, and therefore our prices will go up. Well, if he did that across the board, it would be true. I actually saw some of these idiots on Twitter, these leftists. You know Harry Sisson or whatever? That dude, he has 2 brain cells, and they're both downs. Like, it's bad. It's so bad. Anyway, he immediately tweets out, he's like... He says, your coffee is going to be 25 to 50% more expensive because Trump and da-da-da. And it was just so funny because literally 3 hours later, you know, the whole problem, we end all the tariffs because the Colombians bent the knee, which was going to happen because we'll just send them back to a third world country for fun. Like, they have no choice. So this kind of concept that they don't understand that the United States can use that leverage and it's not going to hurt us at the end of the day, I don't understand. I just don't think they have a grasp on things. But either way, as far as in general, Trump does appear to be wanting to put tariffs on some of our main trading partners, such as Canada, such as Mexico, such as China, in a way that will produce tax revenue. And that actually kind of goes into something else that we mentioned before, which is that is to produce tax revenue to cut the income tax. And his new Treasury pick has also mentioned, echoed that as of what, today or yesterday, Cody? And they're pushing for it. They want to get rid of the income tax, and Trump said it again today. So I was more scared that was going to be something that was left to the wayside. I was not banking on that. I just hope that the Republicans in the Senate will compromise and we'll get down to like 5%. Or 10%. That'd be a miracle.
To me, which is really cool. So the Treasury Secretary actually got confirmed today. So he's actually in office now.
Let's go.
I find it very interesting that, well, let me correct. I don't know if he's actually been sworn in, but he did get confirmed. They've been the Senate has really been moving his picks through. They've been confirming them.
They have
pretty quick, and I don't remember seeing this the first time.
It took months.
It took a long time. So
Mitch McConnell has been kind of a pain.
Oh, screw that guy. Anyway, Wednesday is RFK's hearing.
That's when the rubber will meet the road.
Yeah. But it sounds like he does have enough votes to pass.
No way.
I heard a report today that it looks like he will pass, and it also looks like Kash Patel will also pass for SBI.
If they get those two through, everybody will get through.
Yeah.
I mean,
but then Thursday, after Kash is Tulsi Gabbard, which...
You think Tulsi will have problems?
they're creating a whole nother campaign. After Hegseth got confirmed, it all shifted to her.
So they're scared of Hegseth and Tulsi.
So now they're really trying to. I mean, they're also trying against RFK too, but it looks like he does have the votes to secure it.
I just thought RFK would be the hardest one because I know a lot of Republicans were like, "We love the vaccine. Oh, don't get rid of anything."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you people need to be.
Mom, do not put the vaccine in your arm.
Mom, do not redeem the gift card. No. Sorry, that was Indians. I love you. I love you. You know, I'm sorry. That was uncalled for. But
Compassion, Caleb.
Compassion. I'll do it again. I'm not gonna lie. But no. So that's interesting. Trump is getting his people through the tariffs. If he does implement a lot of those tariffs, it will create a lot of tax revenue. I think that's Trump's main goal. Will that create inflation? It will. How much? I'm not sure. And also, what can he deflate to kind of counteract that, right? Because we look at inflation as a whole pie, right? As the whole pie. So if he gets gas prices down to $1.20, $1.50, well, all of a sudden, Americans have a lot more money in their pocket. And if, buying, these plastic things or, well, this isn't even plastic. Yeah, that I didn't even know that till the second. All right, here we go. That's not plastic either. What the hell's plastic in this place? I don't know. We're just American. We're just so American. We don't even have plastic.
Very, very large taints.
Huge. That's a study. Look it up. Microplastics directly correlate to taint size, which taint size directly correlates to your fertility. Anyway, total side point. But anyway, the plastics here, yes, that may go up by an X amount of dollars, but it is going to be worth it in the grand scheme of things. If we can cut the income tax, that'll save every American 20%, right? Off the bat of their total income, not their spend, total income, which is even better. And on top of that, they'll have lower gas prices. So you see what I'm saying? If we take 5% of an inflationary increase on most things, but yet we see a 5% decrease, or no, let's say 50% decrease on gas and fossil fuels, which will also counteract some of these plastics and different things becoming cheaper. We may only see a 3% total inflation rate, which is how much we already have. We haven't even broken to that 2.5% yet. So I don't know. For me, I see it as an absolute win because it would be saving each American between 20 and 30%, while, what would I say? The other products will not go up that much. Anyway, but for smaller countries, it does appear as if Trump is just planning on using it as leverage. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
The funny thing with Colombia is after Trump made those, threatened, because it all came down to deporting, illegal immigrants back to Colombia. They weren't allowing, the transport planes to come in. After Trump threatened all these tariffs, they're like, yeah, you can bring your planes, and better yet, we're going to send a presidential plane to help you transport these people back to us.
So they're like,
that's crazy.
Well, because they knew, he's serious. Yeah.
Like within a week, it would go from 25%
to
50%.
Yep. So, I mean, that was Trump's whole thing, right? You don't want to take the immigrants or your own people back that have committed crimes here? Okay, I'll slap 25% tariffs. If you don't have it done by a week, we'll go up to 50. And I assume Trump would have put it to 75. It's just leverage. So anyway, immediately Colombia, they collapse. At least they give in, I should say, to Trump's
like an
demands.
hour.
Yeah. It was like, okay, that's not even funny.
And they were saying, and Trump was just like, he was at his golf course in Miami. They're like, man, this guy can golf and stinking bend a country to his will on the same day.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's crazy. That's one thing I do love about Trump is that he does understand leverage, and that's one thing that I really do like about him. Because he's a business guy, right? He knows when I have the power and when you have the power. So, but he always sees it through the lens of we have the power. Even if in some situations you might say, oh, I don't know, we're about 50-50, like with China, right? We get all of our stuff from them. And the way he phrases is, no, we buy all their stuff, right? We cut that off, they starve. It hurts us, right? It hurts us, they die. That's that's a power dynamic there, so we can leverage that. So I do like the way that Trump thinks. But yeah, going on to another one. U.S. military members who were fired or let go because they refused to take the vaccine, they were discharged because of this. And now they are being rehired, and they're getting full back pay because of old Daddy Trump. So that's crazy.
I believe it was about 8,000 service members.
Man, that really worked out for him. Man, that's awesome. Reap what you sow, because I mean that's awesome. Because now they've probably already been working other jobs, right? But now, if the average salary is $50K for each one of them, the average person is going to get back $150K. Boom, $150,000 check, right there. That's awesome, and they get their jobs back. So, I mean, it's just the right thing to do. You can't force people to take things like that, especially from a massive pharmaceutical company that withstood the amount of testing it withstood, which is far less than other vaccines. I'm not saying that that's right or wrong. I'm just saying it is. That's just a fact. It's what it is. I mean, it sucks, but they just shouldn't have required everybody to take it. So anyway, I mean, it shows you. I mean, the American people voted for this, so let's go. Federal aid. Trump has cut all federal aid. That's cool. You know where this is going, Cody? And I was like,
is it cool though?
Is it cool, right? I was like, dude, Daddy Trump, America first. Let's go. And then I was like, well, but what country is it really first? Because everything our government does is always Israel first and America second. So I was like, this is so weird. Why would they be putting America first? I was perplexed. I was perplexed by the idea that American politicians and the government would put America first. I was like, what? This can't be right. Sure enough, the suspicions were correct. Obviously, Israel got an exemption, and not only that, they got like a toll-free exemption. They're going to be able to get as much as they want. So yeah, everybody gets cut out except for beep them. So anyway, it's what it is. We're getting canceled, aren't we? Also,
we're getting canceled. We're getting sued. We're getting shot.
I am part Jew. I have like a teeny little like I think my fingernail's Jewish, or like there's a little bit of me that's Jewish. I did a DNA test.
Yeah, you look Jewish.
Wow. Now I'm just I can't say that. I will get my bank accounts taken away, but no, I mean, and it's like I said, everything it has nothing to do with Jewish people. It just has to do with Israel as a country just coming before America. And that's just my only problem. It's just like, come on, guys. Like, let's put our own country first. That's all I ask. And if you don't, then I'm going to criticize you. It's what it is. But yeah, so in our last topic here, it's going to be the shootout that happened at the southern border. I don't know much about this. I'm going to be honest. All I know is that the cartel literally looked like armored. It was armored vehicles, but it looked like almost Humvees. Were shooting. They actually ambushed Border Patrol, which is crazy. So we'll see what happens. I know that Trump already deployed 500 Marines to the border before this happened. So this happened just today. So we don't really have any news. Do we have any news as far as who got killed? Is there any?
As far as I saw, no, there was no fatalities.
Good.
It did look like there could have been some injured Border Patrol agents.
I'm sure.
But it didn't look like there was any fatalities.
Okay.
Last I checked.
Nothing terrible then? I mean, it's terrible, but no people died.
Yeah, well, we'll see how nuclear Trump goes, because apparently he was being briefed on the situation. All I'm going to say is I don't want to be Mexico.
You know, I just saw a tweet that from Eric Daughtry. He has, like 400,000 followers. His tweet already has like 2.5 million people have seen it. He said, the cartels just shot at us. They shot at federal agents on the border. Send in missiles now. So this is going to be the, yeah, I mean, literally, if you just go through Twitter, it's like wipe the cartels off the face of the earth, invade Mexico, bomb Mexico. Like, I mean, people are fed up with it, which, I mean, they have a right to. Cody, if you could actually throw up a picture of the Humvee on the screen, that would be awesome. Might want to make a note of that, because I would love to have that up at this part here. But it's just crazy. So, I mean, they get into a massive gun battle. the biggest thing with Trump, I mean, he's just not going to put up with this. He's just not going to. So the cartels have another thing coming. I do know that Vivek, a lot of Trump's aides were also talking about a possible soft invasion, which is the concept of we're going to send in Delta Force, SEALs, like we're just going to start assassinating all of them. Possibly even Mexican government officials, right, if they're linked with the cartels. Just whack them, right? We'll just go in, a cloudy night, they're all gone. And then not only that, but we may even occupy and control. We might just invade and take certain ports from Mexico, certain airstrips, etc., just so we can control everything that comes and goes. I don't think that's a bad call. I don't really know what else you're going to do. I thought about just doing facial recognition and putting a couple gunships above Mexico and just zapping them off that way. Mexico, I mean, they'll have to do what we say. So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see Trump's response. I believe Trump's response will be send the military to the border. I don't think he will call for an invasion now. I think he will start briefing Hegseth and a lot of other people as far as saying, hey, what is it going to take for us to do operations in Mexico? I think this is going to start it. So I think we're going to go to war with the cartels because the cartels are going to get their necks squeezed here. And the problem is the cartels are probably going to continue lashing out. That's going to be the bad move. That's a bad move. With Biden, that's a good move. Maybe you can make a deal. Maybe, they'll allow you to get so many in every so often, or they'll allow so many immigrants in where they can smuggle people, they can smuggle drugs with them, etc. But
somebody in the comments said, "Are they friendlies?" And this guy says, "Yes."
Oh man, that's crazy. That's crazy. You can see the Mexican military assets now staging on the other side of the river. Wow. Crazy. We'll see what happens. Wipe them off the face of the earth. What's that guy say? Oh, no, he didn't say anything. He's just telling us a report of it. But, yeah, man. Trump's going to rain holy hell upon him. We're going to keep you guys updated on this because I'm actually interested in this story in particular. I think Trump's going to hit him like never seen before if he's going to reinforce, he's going to make sure that they don't even think about doing anything at the border. But if they do anything else, he's going to actually look at an invasion into a soft invasion into Mexico, which, that's crazy. It's going to be wild.
Bad day for Mexico.
Bad day to be, in Mexico. Not one of us. To be south of the border and doing drugs and trafficking kids, you're probably going to get whacked. I hate to break it to you.
I mean, you shouldn't be doing those things, brother.
Yeah, it's hard to feel bad for them.
I don't. Sorry.
The Lord wants some of us back. That should be the real phrase of this podcast. The Lord wants some of us back. Some of us got to be sent home for him to decide. I mean, it's not us to decide. We can't tell if somebody's going to go eternal life or hell, right? But we can decide whether their life needs to be ended preemptively on earth. But it happens. So it was a good podcast. Thank you guys. Like, share, and subscribe. I don't know. We're going to be posting this episode cut out throughout. Share it. Have fun. We'll keep you updated on this Mexico stuff though, because I'm excited. Let me know what you guys think in the comments in particular. What do you think Trump's response is going to be? And then, you know what? I'll feature your comment if you're right. If you're wrong, I'm going to roast you, but it's what it is. Anyway, guys, thank you, and we'll catch you on the other side.